also come bearing news. We have to find a gentleman's accord here. So we were talking before we were recording. I was like, what are you doing? You know, what's coming up? What can we help you plug? And you're like, well, I'm going to be competing at the Long Beach Open. And I was like, well, I know that.
Yeah.
And do you know why I know that?
Why is that?
I have a friend who just signed up and he is in your division.
Oh, God.
Yeah. What's up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcast from Rafa Sparza coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour. I hope you're excited because this is the first time a guest has said, you know what? Come to my house. We can go to a gym. Gyms are dirty. Come to my house. It's lovely. I'll let you have the run of the area, which most people should not let us do. But they're very nice to let us up here. But before we get to him, there is no camera switch, so he's just going to have to stare at me as I do this one. But before we get started, I just want to say, if you guys are so inclined to give us some love on the show, you can go on over to Hideout page /Grappling Hour. You can follow our show for $5 a month. You get to see these interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you get to see tape studies, breakdowns of matches with the athletes themselves. And occasionally you can see a segment called Roast Raf, where people roast my competition footage because I think that's pretty funny. So you can check out all those things and more. And plus, we're always coming up with new things. And especially in the new year, there will be new segments and new entertaining elements that we're going to be adding on to that Hideout page /Grappling Hour. Again, support that supports me. Also, you can find on that page, we've got new merch. Because check this out. Look at this. Boom. Boom. Buy merch. Buy some hoodies. Buy some t-shirts. We've got 5 different colored t-shirts. This is just one of them. It's the old school black and white. I hope that you guys will support the show. You can also go on over to thegrapplinghour.com to find that. And you can join our Discord and like, subscribe, and share. We're going to get to a comment by the end of this show. I'll tell you what you can comment on. We'll figure out a prompt for you. All right, our guest. I gotta be honest, our guest, he had me worried, man. He had me worried. And it was only for a split second because at his last Cage Warriors fight, my man came back with one of the most vicious arm bars that I've seen. But of course, it's one that's secured with the extra insurance of a triangle arm bar. And it just makes me look at this guy and say, Bobby Winther, congratulations on another win at Cage Warriors. Thank you for being such a gracious host here in your home. Most people would never allow me into their homes, but here we are.
Oh, hell yeah, bro. It's been awesome, especially since we've been rolling with each other. The last time we had this one.
Well, yes, we were rolling with each other, but you have a particular vengeance that you bring when we're rolling, which is mostly just like, I realized that our friends, we went to go roll over at 10th Planet South Bay. Shout out Donna, PJ. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And I noticed that the time was conveniently not a factor by the end of that time. They, were the last ones there. They kind of just let it run out. And I thought that's just a testament to them letting me have more agonizing terror from you, because I was like, I thought about it and I go, I think I should be out of these things. Like,
I was also thinking that too. I was like, this time seems like it's going. And I looked and I was like, this timer's not on. I was like, damn it, this is gonna go on until it's done. I was like, damn.
Well, and again, we rolled for a long time the last time we saw each other, which isn't a huge issue to me. It's just, I like to plan accordingly because I think we might be here for a minute. And to our credit, we ended exactly at 2 on the dot.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to keep people waiting. And I just thought, like, I'm going to give him my back right now because I just feel like at least we can go home. So I thought that we were
and I'm okay with it.
You were not.
I wasn't going to give you my back.
I realized that I had other options that I was looking at, and I kind of go, oh. You're the type, though, that when you are rolling, it is like you take me into charted waters that I don't necessarily want to go to because I'm like, I think I have to break something on him to make this work for me. And I don't particularly want to do that. So it puts me in a very bad quandary when we're rolling.
Yes.
Let's say this. You have very graciously provided a salty crew blonde ale. And let us go ahead and start with a nice little cheers here. I appreciate you, sir. All right, let's talk about this fight. Because I'll tell you what my brain was going through. I was watching it. I got together with one of our friends. And I'm not supposed to be on the clock. So I had it on my phone.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're watching a movie together. And it's just, nice little group of us. And they just saw me going like, what's wrong, Raph? And I go, shit. Okay, no, it's good. Oh. And then once I saw you start to set up from guard, I go, we're good. Okay, this is a wrap. Like, so I knew we were good. But there was a slight moment of, it was my man Bobby okay. So talk us through the fight, sir.
Yeah, so it was such a fun fight for as long as it lasted. And so came in and got to show some striking, which was cool. I got to throw some leg kicks. I had up until that point I had thrown one leg kick in all of my fights. So then I think I landed like 6 or 7 in that one. And then I landed some nice straight combinations. All things I was like practicing, and I really wanted to demonstrate some striking. And then I went for another leg kick, and he ended up knocking me off balance. In the video, it looks like he knocks me down with a punch, but I actually had lost my footing because he closed the distance. But he knocked me off balance. I came up, and then he landed an uppercut right away, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I go to pretty much frame out, and then he lands a right hand right over the top, and that one caught me, and I was rocked for a second, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Figure it out again. And then I think he saw that and was like, oh, I'm going to fucking just keep hitting him. So I was like, okay, let me try to punch him. And he just kept coming forward. And I was like, dude, I have to go for the take. I can't do the striking thing that much longer. I got to show him the takedown. So level change 2. And then once I took him down, it was kind of everything was pretty much how I've been practicing things. He went for a butterfly hook. And I've been working how to not be swept off butterfly hooks with Mike Perez.
I've seen.
It was just right away into an isolation of that arm, because I've seen Andre Muniz break Jacare's arm, and I've been wanting to hit that belly down arm bar for forever. So I saw it. I was like, oh, I'm gonna send it, and he did I couldn't tell at the time, but when I watched it back, he did a super athletic move to jump over and not get his arm broken. I was like, damn, I couldn't tell at the time, so I was like, screw it, let's just go right to a triangle. And then once I locked up the triangle, he just went to pull out rather than pressure in. He went to go pull out and extended his own arm, and I was and it was deep, and I was just pulling it off, and he kept backing out, so I was belly down, and I was I think he was tapping there as I was going belly down, so I was I had been rocked for a second, didn't know I was cut, didn't know I had anything. Until I came up and I touched my face and I go like this. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what's going on? I was like, oh, well, I'm glad I ended that as fast as I did. This might not have lasted much longer.
I mean, let's put it this way. When I see you in a fight, I'm kind of thinking to myself, I think he's going to be okay. But when your friend's rocked, this isn't good. I think the saving grace for me is that I remember in the back of my head, you're like a truck, dude. So you might be rocked, but you're pretty solid. Yeah. So it's just a matter of getting our bearings. Then you go to the takedown and I go, oh, okay, great. Now, this is where I think you do differ from other people that I know in the sport or in MMA, if you would. Your ability to work from guard is actually quite confidence building, where a lot of people in an MMA fight, working from guard is not necessarily their thing. They kind of get hit from there. But for me, I felt full confidence once you got him to that guard. I go, I think we're good here. And that confidence that I had in you was well-founded because it didn't take you more than 30 seconds to go into a transition and legitimately with a move that you wouldn't think other people can pull off. Yeah. The legit, let's do a warm-up of doing these kip up kind of arm bars. And I was like, he's kind of doing that.
Well, you know what the funny thing about that arm bar is in the back before that, I was telling my coach, arm bars don't fucking work. People just I in the last couple competitions, I've like put arm bars on people that have been like tight, and they like have just like muscled out, or like they got height on me, and then they like I couldn't put a breaking pressure, like against Elijah Dorsey at ADCC trials. I threw an arm bar, like a desperation arm bar that was like pretty tight, but he had that height and was just eating it. And then my last MMA fight, I snapped an arm bar on the dude, and I was like, and he just like hulked out of it too. And I was like, dude, so we were like talking literally before the fight. I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing arm bars anymore. These things suck. And then I was like, the reason that one worked was because he didn't have the height built. Yeah, and I could belly down on him, so that's why it was like a lot more devastating.
Well, you also didn't hesitate on that part. So that belly down has like a short time span where it's a real threat before somebody goes like, oh, I can get out of this. Yeah. You read the timing well, and then you made the most of it. And I said, damn, that's impressive. But I will say, it is very strange when nobody else knows you're watching a fight and they're just watching you without the context. So there was a lot of me going like, oh, and then I didn't even watch the full finish. I just kind of went, yeah, we're good. Like, I knew I went about my thing. We were watching a movie. I waited for another moment in the movie to see you kind of talk very quickly. And I go, yeah, we're fine. But yeah, I mean, it was a good night for both you, other friend of the show, Anthony. So it was a good way. And the contrast between those two was, with Anthony's, I wanted that fight to be stopped 4 different times for that dude. Oh, like, absolutely. I kept seeing that dude like shell up, and there wasn't enough evidence that he was taking for damage per se in those like curl moments, because Anthony was like, hey man, what are we doing here? And was giving him time to come back into the fight, but he was just shelled up. And I go, I don't know, he's taking enough where I'm good. Yeah. If we call it. And then when he would take damage, I was like, see, this is why I don't want you to fight anymore, because Anthony's just on top of you. So
he's just relentless too. And honestly, shout out to that guy, because he had taken that fight on like 2 weeks notice, I think. And he is actually a 155er. And for like the first minute, I think people were like, oh my God, this guy's going to wrestle with Anthony. Are you kidding? Because his fight was right before mine. So I'm watching his fight in the back. And we're just sitting there like, oh, this kid's like pretty good wrestler, I think. Yeah. So we're all like watching. And then like there was a guy who didn't know that in the back with us, that didn't know that Anthony was our guy. Yeah. And he was like, oh, this other guy, everyone thought this other dude was gonna win, but this kid's a beast. And I was like, we just kind of like sided. And then like Anthony doing what Anthony does, just like absolutely turns the tide, and just like, pretty much what he does is he makes you get enough confidence to feel like you're in this fight, and then like baits you into trying to do the thing he's really good at, which is wrestling. And then he just has fun with it for the rest of the thing, because he's so confident in just like his ability. He's a showman. Yeah. He's the definite, like he's such an exciting fighter to watch, and like not just exciting, very good at it too. Yeah. So it's like he does the thing and then like breaks the kid's will, and then just like, cool, makes him keep coming up. So I was surprised that guy had made it to the 3rd round, because that's an exhausting thing to do. Yeah, no. And that was part of the reason why I was like, I don't think he has any more for this guy. So at that point, it just doesn't become a fun fight to watch. It just doesn't have a finish. Exactly. It's just in your brain, you go, I think I've seen enough. Yeah, exactly. I know what I know. And especially when Anthony's standing up and just kind of like, yes. Should I do okay? And then we'd like take shots, and I go, ugh. They'll still look heavy in those moments. And then like at the end of the fight, you're just like the picture of like the kid on the ground and him just like doing it. Like if you haven't seen that photo, that is the best. I sent him a text and I was like, dude, that's an iconic shot. Like you should frame that on your wall, because that is like the Muhammad Ali. If he had this wall back here, this would be the hall like that you get, where you're like, oh, have you seen my fight footage? Exactly. Oh, okay. I would be like, I will buy him that. I was like, I will buy you that photo, because that was so cool. And then like obviously like he did that his last fight. He called the dude up and then ended it off that. I was like, it made me scared, because he called him up and then took a right hand right away. I was like, maybe you should have done that, and then just finished it,
But
which was
it
nice.
just goes to show that it doesn't matter how much you do this. If you're a fighter, if you're a guy who reports on fighters, we all have very similar reactions for our guys where we're kind of like, no, you know, like you have that
I want them to lose at one second. I don't want them to lose any seconds of this fight.
So there's always a strange occurrence that happens where you're watching and you have the confidence in your buddies.
Yeah.
But you also know anything can happen in a fight. So you hope for the best.
Dude, especially like a fist fight. It's just like that right hand could just put you out.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
Okay. So the eye was a little puffy then afterwards then, right? So what does that entail for any kind of celebratory moments? Because we usually like to ask you about what you do afterwards. I saw you were on cloud 9 in that video. So I was like, he's loving life. But, you know, amongst my friends, they're like, Joe, did you see his fight? I was like, I watched it live. It was a lot.
Yeah.
My heart rate has come back down now.
Oh, yeah. It's so it was funny as I was standing there, and looking at the pictures backhand, like it looked a lot worse than it like actually felt for sure.
Okay.
But but the eye, I could see it swelling there. And then I obviously knew that there was like that this was a gash. And then I had asked my coach when I came over, I was like, what do you like is it? He's like, you're gonna need some stitches on that for sure. And I was like, he's like, your eye looks, he's like, just we'll keep an eye, like pretty much just like make sure like nothing's gonna be bad on it. But that ended up just not being a thing. Like the eye just kind of ended up being just a black eye after that.
I think that's what it, because right now there's no trace of it and it's a couple weeks out.
It didn't break anything, no. Yeah, so and honestly, I clearly I wear all of my scrapes and cuts really really well. So it's like anything that like touches me, I'll either bruise, but that was like a legitimate like bump.
Yeah.
That doesn't normally happen. He hit hard for sure. Like his hands are heavy. And then, so I just waited till the end of the fight, and then the ringside physician just put the stitches in on me. And then I just had to keep them in for 10 days. And then Lauren and my friend helped take my stitches out too. Lauren really wanted to take my she's like, can I do it?
Wow.
Like, yes, you can do it.
What a true bonding moment for this beautiful married couple to have. Like, I want to do. It's like a pimple pop where it's like, yes.
Yeah. But as far as like celebrations, I don't do anything usually the night of. That whole day is like tiring, and then I know it's tiring for her.
Yeah.
So it's like we just kind of come back, chill, and then the next day we usually just like go out, hang out throughout the day, and then we'll like if we have friends that want to go out that night or either the night after, then we'll go out and hang out there too.
Yeah, because I mean, the other thing that you're kind of an asshole about is it's right around Christmas. Yes. So I was kind of seeing my friends for Christmas, and I'm wondering to myself, I'm like, dude, you know, you're kind of giving these people a moment to be like, oh, we got to go see Bobby fight, which we're excited.
Yes.
But it is the holidays, and I could have gone to a party instead. But instead, we're here at a casino watching a fight.
If I could pick the dates, I would wish it would not be there. I wish it was earlier.
I understand
but it actually kind of worked out well because I did the fight, and then we had already had a ski trip to Park City planned with some of our really close friends. So fortunately, everything went according to plan where I take the win. Unfortunately, took some damage, but overall healthy, so I could keep skiing.
Sure. And
spend the week with the friends, and it was awesome.
Are you a skier? Have you skied a lot in the past?
So I didn't grow up skiing, but I kind of picked it up about like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
And just fell in love with it. It was like one of those hobbies, kind of like jiu-jitsu, where you're like, this is so much fun. This is like, I'm like on cloud 9 here. The difference between that and jiu-jitsu is I don't want to make a career out of skiing. So it's definitely my like escape into my like hobby outside of like fighting and stuff. So
I understand.
But it's been awesome.
I was not good at skiing. I didn't really have the balance for it, but I recognized very quickly that when I was skiing as a kid, I was maybe 12 or 13. I used my ability to be bad at it to hit on girls. So it became I would be like bump into them and like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I can't control myself.
Oh God, I'm so bad at this. Like, no, you're okay. And I remember the crew that I was with, like one of the dads was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I go, what? And he goes, did you just get a number from somebody you crashed into? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, what? Like, what? And I go, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, I didn't think this was a thing either, but I'm going to run with it.
It kind of worked out for me.
It kind of worked out. And then anybody's like, yo, you want to go skiing? I was like, nah, I'm good now. Especially now, I'm like, I'm married, dude. Like, this doesn't
I don't need
happen.
to figure it out anymore.
What do I need to do? Go. I was like, bro, because now I think about it and I go, if I injure myself, I can't train.
Yeah.
And that's not happening. So
that's always like the worry. So whenever I'm like doing it, I don't do anything that's outside my pay grade for it, but some of the fun stuff is the stuff that's like dangerous.
Yes.
So like keep it within reason. Like I like to go down like the double blacks to like challenge myself, but like only if I'm with people that can also kind of be challenging with that. But like I don't want to like bring people who aren't comfortable on things they're not comfortable with. Like that's not fun for me. So like if people are like just learning how to ski or Lauren snowboards, so she goes down on like some of the blues and stuff, and everything's still fun for me because it's skiing. Like to me, it's like if it's something that's easy for me to do, I can go extremely fast down it, and I'm like, it's cool. It's just so fun.
What's up.
Which is funny. I don't necessarily like going fast on like everything. Like I wouldn't want to drive extremely fast. Like that doesn't give me the adrenaline as far as like skiing super fast.
Because Bobby, you are kind of an enigma for a number of different reasons. One of which being that you've done things to extreme. You do jiu-jitsu, but at a very high competitive level. You fight. People tend to be adrenaline junkies for that. Navy. Pretty intense when it needs to be.
Yeah.
So you don't strike me as somebody that like, as a surprise, you're like, oh, I did some black diamonds. It's like, bro, I already know that. But to hear you go, I don't need to drive fast is the one surprising element where I'm like, I don't know, man. I could see you probably being like, yo, we can go fast.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there's things that like, if I go, okay, if I'm going to get really like injured or like die on this, like, am I okay? Like, there's obviously most of the time the answer is like, no, it's not okay. But like, if I'm like, for me, like driving a motorcycle, it's just not worth it for me because like, I'm like, I can't control any of that. I'm like, not that cool. But like the other stuff is kind of like within my control. Like if I decided to go fast, then it's like, cool, that was on me.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, it's like, I like it, but I kind of like, I don't really have a logical approach to some of it.
I also recognize I'm very clumsy. So I just kind of take that out of the equation. I'm like, no, I can't be out on a motorcycle. I'm going to be the guy that like fucks shit up and then goes, oh man.
I'm just going to be so scared the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to die. I'm going to be like, oh God, like don't do it. There's some people that love it and I can understand why, but I can't get in.
All right. We need to cover some ground here because we trained. That's great. Tonight, I'm going to take you to a WWE show.
First one ever.
This is the first one ever. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it started with you saying like, yo, there's a military discount. I should use this. And I was like, absolutely should. So what are your expectations going into this? Because you are somebody who's maybe not watched a lot or ingested a lot, but I'm sure you have ideas of what it might be like.
It seems like it's going to be a very strange spectacle, like something that I don't think I've ever witnessed. Like, I think it's going to be like, I won't even understand the moves that they're doing because it'll be like not traditional to me. But like, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see how excited everyone else gets.
Yes.
That is so fun to me when like, if I have no idea what's going on and then everyone's like, did you see what's going on right now? Like, that's insane. Like if you went to like a football game and had no idea like what football was. And then you see everyone's cheering. You're like, that was good. Let's do it. Like, it's still going to be fun.
Touchdown score. Yeah. That's what happened. No, like, I can affirm for you, it is going to be odd, but I think it's so telling that so many people have gone to see them before and that it does such big business. So from a production standpoint, it is very impressive. So I think you're in for a treat.
Everyone that I've had friends that are like pretty into into it that weren't into it previously, and they like went to one live, and they're like, dude, I didn't even watch this. That was one of the funnest things I've ever been. I was like, dude, I'm in.
There's a reason why I go to these things, is like, it's so absurdly its own world.
Yeah.
I do it to people watch. Obviously, I'm trying to take notes for production so we can bring them to our sport of jiu-jitsu. But yeah, when you mentioned it and we're game for it, I was like, well, let's make a day of it. So yeah. I said, well, I'll come down here. You were nice enough to come up the last time. I was like, I should come down here. That only seems fair. But I also come bearing news. We have to find a gentleman's accord here. So we were talking before we were recording. I was like, what are you doing? You know, what's coming up? What can we help you plug? And you're like, well, I'm going to be competing at the Long Beach Open. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, I know that.
Yeah.
And do you know why I know that?
Why is that?
I have a friend who just signed up, and he is in your division.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Now, here's the weird part to me. I don't think I'm coaching him, but there is a possibility I am. So I was like, I was explaining to my friend, I go, why didn't you tell me which division you signed up for? And he was like, oh, I just picked this one. And I was like, okay. And he goes, well, why? And I go, well, I would have looked at it and I would have seen who's in it. I was like, there's some good people in it. Some of them are friends with the show. And he's like, oh, shit. And I was like, yeah. I'm training with one of them on Monday.
That is awesome.
So what is the gentleman's accord we have here? Am I allowed to coach him? Like,
absolutely.
But here's the thing, Bobby. You're also our people too. Yeah. So I don't know what to do here.
Here's my thing. Coach him. Tell him if you're gonna coach someone, try to like have him win. Like, sure, be like, obviously, because I will never like be at it like, oh, fuck them. Like, he's coaching against me. Like, that's how it goes. Like, we're all friends, but we eventually have to fight each other. Yeah. So, like, for me there, but, like, as long as, like, afterwards, where everyone's, like, happy as
stuff,
no. That's what's cool with me.
Here's the weird part. He is perfectly your speed in terms of bro-tastic.
Oh, nice.
Like, he is, even then, when I told him, I was like, yo, one of my good friends is in this. And he goes, sounds good. Can't wait to challenge myself. I go, yeah, that's
exactly.
Same.
That's what's super fun. You just get to meet like new people and everything.
Well, you do make a lot of friends. So even the people you've competed against, I had a good feeling. But I go, I think we got to figure this out because I can't, in good faith, just show up and be like, Bobby, good to see you. We shake hands, and then be like, what's up, Raph? And then I sit in the opposite side.
I'm like, hey, what the fuck, dude?
Especially,
that would be actually hilarious. Like that would like you should get that on video. That would have been hilarious. Like I'd be like, dude, what's going on?
And it's just like, you know, these things happen. And again, I don't even know he's going to ask me to do it, but I work with him.
Yeah.
And he's good and you're good and everybody's good. But the difference is then I did the math in my head. And I go, I didn't have a scenario where I figured coaching against you was a possibility. And then one of my guys made it a thing. And I go, oh.
I'm like, damn, this might happen.
Okay, maybe they don't see each other. There's a big possibility that happens. I go,
especially if the bracket's big. Yeah.
But when we interview, now that I know this, I can't not bring it up.
Yeah.
So when you're just
that's so funny.
I felt so bad like in the moment when you're like, well, Raph, you know, I got the ADCC Long Beach Open coming up. I'm like, I'm aware.
I know you said that. I was like, maybe it's just like common.
Well,
I probably would have been in it. But
let's be real about this too, which is if I wasn't protected by the Masters, you would be in my division.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. If we didn't, because I forget that the Open does. It's so wild because I started when it was only trials.
Yeah.
And then now that they have Opens, that like they have so many different divisions.
And the divisions between, I think it's 183 and then beyond.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a 201. That's
insane.
A big jump between
ridiculous
sizes.
Jump, actually. That's what my only critique about like ADCC in general is like how wide those weight classes gaps are, because just in general, even for like the actual tournament and trials, like I feel like this is kind of like the way they opens are is kind of how they probably should do the trials. But I get it. Like it's hard to run a tournament on that basis.
I'm with you. I'm more of the mindset though that this is how things work. Because on the master side, I think it's absurd that it's 35 and up. Because I'm 41. Okay. So I looked at it and I was like, I don't know, maybe I would pop in. Let's see. These 35-year-olds are all 3-degree black belts. This is no. This is. I'm not on this level. Like,
do they not have like a masters, like one masters? It's just masters.
So it's masters 35 and up, 45 and up, and then I think like 55 and up.
Damn, that's a huge jump,
bro. And I got to be honest with you. I've done the math too, and I'm like, yo, if I'm going in the 45 and up category, those people are going to be juiced to the fucking grill.
They're on TRT. Absolutely.
And me being like the world's most like not poster boy is going to go, why would I ever do this?
Yeah.
So the short amount of time I had of looking at my buddy and going, oh, well, you're going to be doing this. That's great. My friend Bobby's in it. Noah Chen's in it. He's a friend of the show. He's great. Yeah, it's a good division.
That'll be awesome. I actually didn't know who. I haven't really looked. I just signed up and I didn't get a chance to look at it.
Oh, I am very much a studier. So awesome. I always look at it. See,
cool. Noah Chen's in it. That's awesome.
And Noah Chen's a beast. But the thing is, I'm looking at this and I go, oh, I already know they're good.
Yeah.
So I think about it for my friend. Then I take a moment for myself and I was like, if I was ever going to do one of these things, it's like thinking from the athlete perspective. I'm like, this would be a death fucking thing because on paper, we're not the same weight, but there we would be. And I go, that's insane. Like, I still, even when we're rolling, I'm like, I think he's like 40 pounds heavier than me. It's got to be because this pressure is really, really fucking good. And then it's like, nope, same weight. Yeah. Shit. Okay.
You know, that always blows my mind. Like, Barrett, like rolling with Barrett Yoshida is like that. Like, you're like he is way smaller. He's like 150 pounds, I think. Probably put on more muscle. He's been lifting a lot.
Yep.
But like still not like anywhere close to my size. And I remember just if he was on top, he was heavy. Like and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you so heavy? Like, and that's just like that is the hidden gem in jiu-jitsu that you just can't explain. That is just like that guy's good. Like I don't know.
And God bless. I wish I had Barrett's skill. You know, I'm still in my formative years. Even though I've been doing this for years, I'm like, oh God, I feel like I'm always the new guy. You know, so I'm always like, oh God, who am I rolling with today? Oh, that's fucking terrible. All right, I'll do it. It's just it's not gonna be fun. So that was an order of business. I'm glad that we came to an accord.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always cool with
I know you're okay with it, but I'm of two minds about that now because one, I probably shouldn't have told you and just done it because then you would have laughed.
I would have laughed so hard. I would have been like, yo, that is awesome.
but especially if I'm like, yo, this attack, it doesn't work that good. He doesn't finish people from here. He's only got the belly down. That's it. So I
let him put you in an armbar. Just stand up on him.
And it goes to show that the world is so small.
Yeah, it really is.
That, you know, when you have these moments and I go, yeah, he's somebody who I definitely rolled with. And had we had done the interview first and then rolled, I would have 100% been like, it was cool if I record this because I know you're a good person and you're fine with it. But some people are not.
Which is wild to me, yeah. Like, it's like, to me, there's no, like, secrets in the game really anymore. Like,
but people feel like their stuff is secretive. They just don't want to give any inches to letting somebody find their way in. I like to think of it like this. You have footage available of yourself. So people can tape study. But like the thing I find wild about when I record rolls is that it's conditional. Like it's not something that is the way you might be rolling with somebody else. Mm-hmm. Like, so you may be trying something else, which by the way, we should probably address this as well. This is January 1st, 2024. I got it right. Normally people say 2023. But there's already one person who is on my shit list. And it is Keith Kokorian, who, when I was rolling with him and doing okay for a little bit, Keith comes over and just goes, oh. And I go, oh, Keith's going to help me. My young friend will come to my aid because I'm getting walloped here. And Keith helps you.
Yeah, he's like, go for his legs.
And I thought about it. I was like, under no circumstances am I getting heel hooked or leg attacked here. And you did transition. And I go, well, if anything, it only gave me an ability to get up for a split second. But I was so mad at Keith. I was like, how is Keith the first beef I have of 2024 now?
Which is so wild because he's the nicest guy I've probably ever met.
He is. But I mean, wouldn't you be mad at somebody if they had done that to you?
You know, it's pretty funny. Like when I hear people coaching against me, I'm kind of like, yeah, keep doing it. I can hear you too. Like it's fun.
Sure. Okay. This is where we differ. No, when they do it to me, it's the Michael Jordan, and I took that personally. So thus, hey, I might be in a chair against you just in case. We don't know. Okay. We've established that. There's kind of a few other things we should touch upon before we wrap this one up, because we do have a lot to go over and to cover and do that, but we also have an event that we're going to. Okay, so you're doing that. You're trying to fight again, hopefully maybe in February, you're hoping?
Yeah, the next Cage Warriors in San Diego is February 23rd. So.
I saw that, and I was like, oh, God, he's going to try and be on that.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround, but, it's...
But you're healthy.
Yeah, healthy.
And you're already back to training.
Exactly,
so
yeah. So it's like...
that's what I needed to bring up, since we were on ADCC. Okay, so some aired grievances, because this is the first time we've chatted since you came to visit me.
That's right, yeah.
In person. Bobby, you put us in a weird spot.
How so?
Well, we were doing a fight companion, and I was going on about these hooligans that kept going off the mats. And I kept saying, these are uncivilized folk who probably have no morals, are goons, are the bottom feeders of our sport. And then it's you. And it was like, not just you, it's Cody Steele. It's all friends of the show who were the worst offenders.
Me and Cody are probably the worst offenders.
And Cody 100% messaged me and is like, yo, that's dope. And I go, no, it's not. You guys have to stop this. So let's go here. Because when we chat at the little interbrew that we did when you came up to Milton's, you were just going over like, yeah, I think I'm going to do trials. And yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm going to do this. Yeah, that's going to be cool. And then maybe I'm not going to use a shirt. Yeah, I'm going to figure it all out. Yeah. And then all of a sudden here I see you do the strategy. You're doing exactly what we said. No shirt. Show up, doing great. And I'm like, yeah, my boys do. Oh, no. I literally just talked shit about exactly him. And then I had to stop. And here's why. Because I was looking at you and I go, this is really crass and bad, and maybe we shouldn't be doing it. Oh, is it with AJ? Let him cook.
That's so fucking funny, because when I got found out me and AJ were going to go off, and to be honest, I really I just knew AJ was like a name in the grappling community. Sure. And I knew that he was kind of just he was out there, kind of just would say whatever the fuck he wanted to, but I didn't really know anything much about him. I just knew he did well at ADCC before, took second and was a pretty decent wrestler. And I was like, okay, cool. That's all I know. And every single person, they were like, oh, who you got first round? I was like, AJ. They were like, fucking destroy him. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, all right. And then the next guy was like, oh yeah. They're like, you're going to kill him, right? I was like, yeah, I mean, anyone they put there, I'm going to try to.
That's the point.
That's what I'm going to do. And it was so funny. I mean, so many people texting me about it. Like, oh yeah, you're going to destroy him. You will absolutely destroy him. No doubt about it. And please don't be nice. I was like, geez. I was like, I never will hold back in a competition, but I was like, a lot of people really don't like this motherfucker. I was like, and I was like, whatever. I'm focused on the match itself. Just go ahead and let me do it. And I just knew he was a big name, and I was like, if I can take this name out, this will look good for me. Yeah. And then it was not until afterwards that I was like, oh, he is like, I can see why people don't like him. Like I kind of did my research and I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
It's wild because I have to double check this, but as of current time, I think he still likes us. Like I think he's still cool with me for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I have roasted him on the show. I don't make a secret of it. He one time gave me a birthday message with a French hat in character.
Damn.
Yeah. And was just like, Raph, happy birthday to you, my brother. And I was like, this is so fucking weird, but I guess it's good we're friends.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
And I go, but he's also such a target.
Mm-hmm.
But it is hard to overlook one thing, which is he is so deceptively good at getting out of stuff. And there's a reason he has been, at least in the conversation. So when people try to downplay him, I'm like, well, he's really good at getting out of shit. Like, even if he's not winning, and this is something I can relate to, and when I roll with people, I'm like, I'm not winning the role, but I'm still in it.
Yeah.
And I go, he's like the master of that. Like, I rolled with him once, and it was almost, I mean, he's obviously better than me, but it was both of us being like, nope, I'm getting out of this. I'm getting out of this, just to show each other what we do. And I go, oh, this is like the Olympics of guys getting out of shit.
Yeah.
So I knew you would have a good match with him, and it definitely put you on the map. What assurances do we have that you were going to try to keep this on the mat? Because
none, no assurance, none whatsoever. The thing is, and with ADCC being the rule set it is, and it's hard to score points in ADCC. It is really hard to score your takedowns and stuff. So, learning from like my match with Davis Azar, I thought I won that match, and I like got into it. And when I didn't win, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like this is ridiculous." Which ended up being a blessing. I got to go against Taza again. Yeah. But after that, knowing I was like, dude, if these guys are good, they're going to be really hard to score points on. They're not gonna. It's not gonna be an easy thing. Like it's a very likely possibility it will go to a decision. Yeah. You must make it you must always show that you're like the most aggressive, and the way you show that in ADCC is holding the center and driving your guy off the mat.
I get it.
It's not. Some people don't like it, but it is
I don't want you. Okay, let me just. This is what I said on the show, and I'll say it to your face. You don't see people in other sports having to subject themselves to the risk just to get the honor of going to represent. Like Simone Biles is not going into a hot dog stand and being like to try and get her trial spot. Yeah. We're in a unique area where it's a badge of honor amongst a group of idiots. To be like, yo, you went off the mats and that was wild. That was
sick. You know, I understand the arguments on both sides of it. Sure. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But like until you can fix the issue of like people just like playing the rules of like, oh, well, it's not gonna count if you go off the outside of the mat. Like I'll just play on the outside. Like a lot of those rule sets don't really give you credit for centering, like being the aggressor in the center. They're like very slim advantages and stuff. And that doesn't even really always plan out that well. Whereas like, I think like when you're like, dude, hey, I like how they're like, they try to make it as realistic as a fight as possible without being strikes in it. Yeah. But they're like, we're not going to save you. Like you're in this, you're a fighter. Like if you decide you're a submission fighter, like this is part of it. Like you gotta control it to where you can stay on the mat if you want it to be on the mats. It is so much fun. It is so much fun.
It's such a goon. I'm sure it's fun and it's a thrill ride. And for you, because you can suplex somebody off of something, I think that's great. And I'm not going to tell you not to do what you do. Do whatever you do. I've never felt more like a parent and old when this happens, because all I'm thinking about is we know too many of you guys. Yeah. And I'm always like, I want to see you guys get back into this. And then if I have to go to an actual argument I go, why is it that wrestling has their shit together and we're so pathetically behind? Like, that shit's not going to happen in wrestling. That center is so valuable there.
Exactly. Yeah.
That for whatever reason, we don't have that. So then it becomes like, well, it's a loose rule. So it is in your interest to go off and do that.
Exactly.
And I go, okay, well, I'm not going to tell you how to play because get yours.
Yeah.
But from a standpoint of when I'm showing it to other people, I guess I should tell you this. I'll give you one thing. I think this is in the element of fairness. So the guy who is in your Long Beach category.
Yeah.
I showed it to him out of context. And I go, what do you think of this? And he goes, yeah, I don't know, man. That kind of seems a bit. And I was like, he's a friend of the show. He's like, oh, okay. He texted me the next day. He's like, I've been thinking a little bit more about it. I think I'm okay with it. And I was like, God damn it, you too. So you have a game cohabiter. But I will tell you this. It's the open.
Yeah.
Not the open.
It's not the trials.
Okay.
Yeah,
trials, do what you do. But at the open, it is not for the honor of going to the thing.
Not at all. I get it too, because like, yeah, obviously there's like that thing, especially if there is no carpeted things on it. If it's just like a sleek pavement, which is a different story. But like, if you think about like, this has been probably the highlight of my whole like combat sports career is like when me and Elijah went off the mat.
Yeah.
And I had dude, I had so many people screaming. They wanted me to win like so bad because we were off the mat. It was so different. Everyone was around us and they were just like, right cat. And like, he is holding it together being like, okay, like I got so many people screaming at me now that like, they're like right there now. Yeah. And it's a different feeling. You're like, oh shit, like I got to do something like for these people. So from like a entertainment perspective for grappling, which is I think where grappling's struggling right now is like, you don't have like the lay person can look at that and be like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like they don't have any rules. Sick. Like, so pretty much I think it's kind of like the equivalent of like, just hit him in the face.
All right. Well, you work on your side. I'll work on trying to get a better rule set for that, or at least a more defined.
I think the answer to it would be like there's some severe penalties if you do get pushed off. Yep. Like a push out point in wrestling is a big fucking deal.
Huge.
Like it's like holy shit. And then the passivity calls can be a little iffy on some matches, but I like them. Like it does drive action, but like on some of those high stake matches, they put some guy on the shot clock and you're like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
Like if he takes a shot on this dude without setting it up, or like really like he could be screwed and lose the match for that.
So it's something I was trying to. I just realized I understand maybe a rule set could be put in there, but one thing I'm working against on that is these videos do well. So I don't think it's going anywhere.
I like doing it too.
Well, the production side of me is also like, it's all fun and games until you suplex into some audience member. And the other production part of me is like, cool, when someone gets hurt, let's see what happens. Yeah. So those are the two things that I'm kind of like, it looks cool. Yeah. It's good on a social media post, but then what happens when those things happen?
I agree. Cause like the thing is, if we're going to have that rule set where it's off the mat, you do need some sort of like space to do it. Like I think at ADCC last year, I forget who had gotten hurt and she won the match and could not continue. Do you remember who that was?
I don't remember the name, but yeah.
She couldn't go because she hit her head on like a pole because the space was like not big enough. And like, that sucks because it's like,
it doesn't.
It was against Gabby Garcia, wasn't it?
It doesn't feel like it's in the context of what the sport is.
Exactly.
It's like an external factor that, again, and like other sports, it's not like they go, oh, well, in baseball, we forgot a foul ball side. Oops, sorry. Yeah, sucks.
Yeah.
You're out. No. So anyway, okay. All right, Bobby, we do need to close this up to get things on the road. What I would like to do, this is your camera.
Awesome.
Please give a shout out to all the good people who helped and supported you. And this time you have prepared.
Yes, I prepared this time.
I like this is the great part of this is the way you have it is I have prepared a statement for my sponsors.
Yes, I will read said statement now. All right, shout out to all the sponsors. I got Defense Strategies Group and Freebird Coffee, Born Primitive, Guam Nutrition, and Coolmit. All those sponsors have been extremely helpful in the training with either payment, merchandise, or just assistance in like supplements, whatever it is that you guys have supported me on. Thank you very much. And if you guys are looking for people that do sponsor fighters really well, those companies have done me such a great service. Just some people that I like to shout out is my coach Vince Salvador and Alex Trinidad and my manager Donna. Those three have been crushing it. There's a ton of people that can make that list, but just going to keep it short right there. And then the gyms I train at the Arena, Legion American Jiu-Jitsu with all those homies and killers over there. And then 10th Plant, South Bay, ran by PJ Barch. Shout out to everything over there and thank everyone who's been a part of this journey with me. And thank you for having me on this show. This is always so fun for me. I love the Grappling Hour. We always message, so it's like
we do. And I mean, listen, you're a big part of our show, and we appreciate you. And like I said, it's silly when I have to sit there and be like, well, I got to give you shit because it's within my integrity to tell you what I said to your face if I say it on air. But I 100% said the exact same thing.
Yes.
It's just now that we're talking in person, I'm like, do whatever you need to do.
Yes.
But be fully aware, I want that rule to change so bad. But until then, if it gets you at ADCC, I will be clapping for you on the side.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely.
It's just, I'm on the same level. Y'all are doing the physical part of getting it bigger.
Put the vertical boundary there, maybe, because me and Cody fight MMA, so like that's a part of it. Like if you run from us, you can only go so far until we'll wrestle you.
I want to put you guys in a pit. I'm good with it. It's just
me and Cody have talked. We would love to do a match. Like that would be one for the fans. Everyone would probably want it to not be on a mat either. They would probably just want us to do it on some.
I'm so glad that you guys have messaged specific just for that. But I messaged him too, and I was like, "Way to represent, man. Good job."
Cody's the man. I always love watching his stuff, and
he's so good, man.
He's super nice. Him and his team, the Tackets, they're all such good people too.
Good guys. I think they're like the premier like American grapplers right now. Like they represent so well as like a nice unit, but like quiet assassins.
I agree. Yeah, they're not out there. Like they're not like super like controversial.
Nope.
Like it's pretty much like if someone was like, I don't like them, you're like, name a reason why, because you can't. Like it's like they're all such great people
and incredibly professional when we're off camera. Just really easy to work with, and every time they're in town, I try to at least say hi, or if they're doing a seminar, I always want to try and stop by and support them. But they're good people. You have merch as well, right?
Yes.
So talk to that camera and tell the people about merch.
Oh yeah. So
this is important to me now because I understand this. Now that I've got this, I'm like, oh no, we got to continue branding here, people.
Buy his merch if you would like to support me and the merch I'm selling. You can go to my Instagram, Bobby Winther MMA Shop. I believe that's the actual name.
Let's just double check that. We have the time to.
Yeah, we got it right now. Bobby Winther MMA Shop.com. Should know this off the top of my head. It's ridiculous.
It's what happens.
Oh my gosh, I don't. I always use it through the Instagram. So it's I'm like off it. Oh yeah, I did have it like that.
So you did.
Oh yeah, so I typed it in. I must have spelled my name wrong. If you go on type in BobbyWinterMMA.com, it'll bring you to my page where you can support me by buying merch. That can look stickers, t-shirts, backpack. It just has the Ghost logo on it. All the proceeds come to me and the people that have like supported me. So like to the coaches, to people behind the scenes, people running the site for me. So Yeah, thank you. You guys appreciate it if you guys would like to help out, and it helps me get to some of these competitions that I can get things paid for.
Absolutely. And it may cover medical bills for people he suplexes off of that. So
Yeah.
we know.
Good thing. I hope ADCC has liability insurance.
They do, but no, I don't. No. I think they're just like, we're good. They can sue you though. But here's why I say you are very much family on the show, because we could be doing something as silly as drinking or training, or we put the hypothetical of, all right, if I'm coaching against you, but nothing makes me laugh more than when we're putting up these posts about our best of the year and you vote for yourself. Like, it's one thing when your wife votes for you and she's like, I don't know, I think I got somebody in this fight. And I go, that's fine. She can vote for you. But you voted for yourself once publicly and then privately. Yeah. And then I go, what is wrong with you? You cannot do that. I have to disclude you from this. And then you're sitting there, you're like, well, I had to try. And I just thought to myself, I was like, that's the dumbest thing in the world.
Hey, it's worth a shot. You know, the worst you could say is no.
I want to be very clear. It had no bearing on anything. Having said that, I would like you to look at this, and I would like you to see if you can tell me some information. I think it's actually attached to something else, somewhere else. But I would like to present to you, sir, this information. Oh my God,
I got it.
You did get it. No, and it had nothing to do with your dumb voting for yourself. But this is something that we will overlay on here. But I will read you the proclamation as what it says. Oh. And it says, Bobby Winthер, #1 on Best of 2023. So much could have gone wrong on his second appearance on our show. Sure, he had an awesome first appearance back in September, but for our second interview, we upped the stakes and he agreed to drive up from San Diego to make a full day of training, drink some beers, and watch some fights. Bobby set a 2023 standard that will be tough to beat in the future. For that reason, he is our Grappling Hour MVP of the year.
Hell yes,
so congratulations to you, sir.
So much.
And as a result of that, you do get merch. So we have been giving out hoodies to our top 5. But because it is a #1 spot, you get the hoodie and the t-shirt. Yes. So congratulations are in order to you, sir.
I appreciate it.
Of course, we will be having you merched on out, but we appreciate you, and it's our nice way of saying thank you so much for being a great part of the show.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Don't appreciate your back takes, but everything else. And I would point this out because I did say this on air. When you choke somebody out with a back take, it's the one moment I took for myself where I go, I mean, it took him 40 minutes to do that to me. Yeah. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying I'm good. I'm just saying. So
that was the one I couldn't get on you last time.
It took a minute. Yeah. And I would say it did inform me this time where I was like, no, he's got a really good fucking triangle. And I'm like, not allowed. You shot it once. And I go, no.
Yeah, I was like, damn. Yeah. Like
I was just, because you know what it was? When we rolled for the first time, I got the information. I was like, I know it's bad. I know I have to fucking go into the fucking abyss to learn what it is. And then once I learned it, I was like, I think I kind of have a version I can do. Still hard to get out of, but I didn't get as caught up in it. And so I was like, oh God, I got good intel, but I think I'm dying on the inside. Okay. It sucks. So anyway, all right. We have to go watch some wrestling. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to just breeze by this. You can support me. You can go on over to hi.page/grappling hour, and you can become a subscriber, $5 a month. See these interviews 30 days before anybody else. You can find out additional information on that at hi.page/grappling hour for a few extra dollars. See extra segments that aren't available anywhere else, extra bonus content, episodes, tape studies, roast draft, etc., etc. Like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you need something to comment on, why don't you tell us if you prefer going off the mats or not off the mats? Because you can take Team Raph or you can take Team Bobby. Now, mind you, it does not mean that you like us better as human beings, because I know I would lose that. But I'm just saying, just tell us honestly if you want people to go off the mats, because you've got a human video game over here that's willing to do it.
I love doing it. If you have, maybe before you vote, maybe try to go off the mats, see the adrenaline spike it gets you underneath a competition.
You do so much that gives you adrenaline spikes. You don't need any more. So those are your prompts. You can join our Discord at Grappling Hour, and finally buy some merch. You can see it's already going to make this dude look way better already. I can tell you this. I know. Look at that. Boom. Oh, and it's very comfortable. Just to let you guys know. All right, that's going to do it for us. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.
See you guys.